Okay, it looks like we're successfully recording. Great. Okay. All right, so today's free webinar, we do this every single month, sometimes twice a month, and today's webinar is going to be about how to generate leads for your home care, assisted living, or senior service business without breaking the bank. My name is Valerie Van Boeven. I'm a registered nurse, and I'm a managing partner of LTC Expert Publications. And on the line with us today, is also George Novison, who's also managing partner of LTC Expert Publications. Hi, George. How are you?
Very good.
Good. So we're glad that you all could join us. As I was saying before we started the recording, over 120 people, I think, or somewhere around that number, registered for this event. So we're expecting quite a nice attendance. And because there are so many people on the line, what we typically do is we keep all of the lines muted, so you will not be able to ask questions until the end. And the reason is because that keeps all that background noise. People's offices are busy. They're going through drive-thrus and ordering milkshakes at McDonald's and stuff like that. So we'll just leave everybody muted. At the end, we will take questions. But here's what you can do in the meantime. If you look at the little on your screen, you have a little panel, a little control panel thing. There's an opportunity there for you to type in questions. Go ahead and, as we go through here, just type in any question you want. And when we get to the end, we'll just go through and read all those questions. So as we go, be sure to use that questions box. Type in the question that you have, and we'll go ahead and answer questions at the end. So with that, we're going to keep on going down the pike here. All right. Okay, so the agenda for today. We're going to talk about online and offline cost-effective marketing, how to move budget dollars to get the most bang for your buck. That's a pretty easy one, actually. How to combine your offline marketing and your online marketing to generate more leads. Live case studies that show online marketing success involving staff in your online marketing efforts to generate leads, and how to use a virtual team to generate more leads online. So the end of the webinar will be very, very interesting with all the questions and answers. So if you have the chance to stick around for the end, that's probably going to be the best part. It usually is. We always have a good audience, and typically we have folks that ask tons of questions, and they ask really good ones. So please stick around for the end, and be sure to type in your questions as we go along. Okay, we're just going to hit it hard right away. And the first thing I want to talk about is moving budget dollars. And this is a cute little picture that I found on the internet. And actually, this picture was in an article related to Google getting out of print media. And if you haven't advertised on Google, or you don't know much about what they do radio, TV, and they also do. And this is what we can do as business owners through Google. And they used to do print media through their Google AdWords campaigns. Well, they don't do that anymore. And so one of the things that this article talked about was the fact that they won't miss it. So print media, I won't miss it. And to be honest with you folks, I don't miss it one bit. At LTC Expert Publications, we do very little, if any, actually none, maybe a postcard mailing once in a while, but otherwise we do no print media advertising. And I know that that's not the best advice for every single person on this phone, because there are reasons to do print media. There are very appropriate reasons to do it. But I would say that if you wanted to move some budget dollars or marketing dollars around to afford other things, you might consider decreasing the amount of money you spend on budget dollars. Here's the other thing that we run into a lot. We have a lot of conversations with folks who have really run some big ads in the Yellow Pages, and even some small ads that are quite costly. So one of the things that you also might be thinking about is, if it's renewal time for your Yellow Pages ad, or ads as it may be. I know there's 1,000 different Yellow Book, White Pages, all kinds of crazy stuff you can, different ones, AT&T versus Verizon and this and that. And, you can decrease some of your ad dollars or your marketing dollars in that area and move them on over to something else that might make more sense, or allocate more dollars to some online advertising. If you live in certain markets, you might find that Yellow Pages advertising is still fairly effective, but let me put it this way. If you know for a fact that your Yellow Pages ad gives you a significant or a good return on investment, you know that for a fact. You're spending $100 a month on Yellow Pages or $500 a month or $800 a month, but you know that for every dollar you spend, you're getting 2 or 3 new clients because of it, then by all means, I don't think I would cancel that. But if you haven't gotten a new lead from the Yellow Pages that you know of in the last year or so, then if I were you, I would decrease my spending on Yellow Pages ads tremendously, because chances are in your area, people aren't looking in the Yellow Pages for you anymore. If that's the case, they're looking for you online, and that's where you need to be. And not just a little bit online, you need to be a lot online. So when I talk about moving budget dollars, I mean, stop wasting time and energy and money on things that aren't getting you a return on investment in print media. There are some things that may still be working for you, and if that's the case, don't stop those items. But move your budget dollars over to something that might give you a better return on investment. It may be even less costly. Okay, online and offline cost-effective marketing. I'm going to talk to you first about what online cost-effective marketing is, what offline cost-effective marketing looks like, and then how you can combine the two. So first, let's talk about online cost-effective marketing. Usually, and most of the folks on this call or this webinar have a website. So either you are a franchise owner and your franchise provided it, or you're part of an organization that provides a mini website or a full-blown website or whatever, or you've developed one yourself. So it's already there, it's a fixed cost, and you already have one. Then there's your social media accounts. Those are all free. They do cost you your time because you need to go set them up. But there is no cost to set up social media accounts. And then there's social media engagement that we're going to talk about, and that's with consumers and professionals online. And that doesn't cost you $1 either, but it does cost you your time. But it's much more cost effective than, if you have this kind of time, than flying the dollars out the door on print if it's not working at all. And then there's online press releases and online news. Now, there are, I guess probably if you look online, somebody would tell you there's probably more than 100 press release submission sites out there. I'm sure maybe there's 1,000, I don't know. But for us personally, or in our business, professionally actually I should say, we have narrowed it down to about 40 free online press release sites that work really well. So you can do press releases about your business for free. You do not have to pay big bucks for press releases to go out online, and you can get a lot of bang for your buck with that. So, and in some cases, if it's a big idea, a big news item, you might want to pay for a press release, and that's okay too. But it should go out online. But for online PR and news, you can use your own website for that, and you can use free press release sites to get the word out about certain things that might be happening with your organization. And it doesn't cost very much to send a fax to a news station these days, or to send off an email to local news items to local news stations and newspapers. So those are the kinds of things, as far as online go, essentially, that are cost-effective and free. And the one thing that I think we'll talk about a lot more here is the social media engagement. So let's talk about that. Or let's talk about offline first, and then we'll talk about engaging. Offline cost-effective marketing. And you all know, if you've ever been to one of my webinars, that I talk about this all the time, so it's no surprise. Networking with other professionals locally, that's probably the most cost-effective marketing you can do, and one that gets a great return on investment. So networking with other folks, having good referral partners, having good customer referrals, asking customers for referrals. If you don't ask, you may never get any. Don't be afraid to ask. Say, if there's anyone else in your life that you think might need our services, please let us know. So customer referrals and community outreach, and that means, working with the Alzheimer's Association, working with the local senior centers, whatever it may mean for you. Community outreach is a good thing, and it's very cost effective. So these are the most cost effective marketing ideas you could, in stuff you can engage in. And the key is to put these two things together. We want to combine the online marketing with the offline marketing to generate more leads. So let's start with one of my favorites, and I've done a little 9-minute video on this that kind of goes into more depth. It's actually a screencast. So in other words, you watch my screen as I tell it, as I tell the story of how to get more bang for your buck on LinkedIn, and I can share that with everybody. So for LinkedIn, if you don't know what that is, you want to check it out at linkedin.com. This is for professional networking only. Now, we're talking about combining your online marketing efforts and your offline marketing efforts. So in regards to online marketing efforts, everybody on this call, without fail, should have a LinkedIn account. It should be set up. You should fill it out, whether it's a pain in the butt or not. Fill in all the blanks that you can. Make sure it's pretty robustly done, and make sure you add your picture. Don't be one of those people that doesn't put a picture in. Don't name it the name of your business. Name it your own name, not somebody else. Brand yourself. In this case, you are a professional networking with other professionals. So you want to make sure that for LinkedIn, you are actually a human being networking with other human beings. There's plenty of opportunity to add your company in, even opportunity to set up a little company LinkedIn addition to your profile. So you want to make sure that you have a very robust LinkedIn profile. And when you do that, then you want to start connecting with other professionals in your community. And what you see here is two guys sitting at a coffee shop or a lunch diner or whatever, connecting with each other personally. Many, many times, every single day across the country, people are meeting on LinkedIn because there are professionals that are working in the same area. Maybe they're not competitive. Maybe they are competitive. And then they arrange for coffee or lunch or something offline. They get together. So starting your marketing with online and reaching out to people in your local community and then meeting them offline is a perfect way to have a much more, not only cost-effective way of marketing, but also time-efficient. I mean, why not? You might as well get your days lined up. If you're a marketing professional or a sales professional, get everything lined up in advance online, and then to set your calendar and then go out and meet with your folks for coffee, lunch, you know, light afternoon snack, whatever it is. The opposite is also true. If you are in some of the nicer networking events or a chamber or a Rotary, or you go to a conference local to you, maybe it's something one of your local universities holds or an Alzheimer's Association thing or whatever the case, if you're at an event and you're able to have some time to network with other people or at least talk to them in the hallway or get to know folks, collect business cards. And when you get back to your office or your home and you're in front of your computer, look them up and see if they're on LinkedIn, and be sure to connect with them on LinkedIn, because that way not only do you have all their information on a business card, but you can continue to communicate with them through email, through LinkedIn. You can do all kinds of things with those relationships. So your offline and your online marketing should meet by making sure you're hooking up with the people that you've already met at conferences and people you have yet to meet. Okay, so let's talk about LinkedIn groups for just a minute. And groups are one of the best ways to get yourself out there. There's so many advantages to groups. It's impossible for me to go into all of them, but they do work really well. And that 9-minute video that I just talked about explains all the reasons why you can, or all the reasons why groups work really well. So LinkedIn groups is your destination to find and join communities of professionals based on common interest, experience, affiliation, geography. Stay in touch with organizations, schools, and companies that you are and were a part of. Network with professionals with similar interests and goals, and collaborate in a professional community online. Here's what I would do. I would make sure my LinkedIn profile is set up. And you know what? Each and every one of you already have a professional on LinkedIn that you can connect with, and that's Valerie Van Boeven or George Novison, both of us. Actually, there's two. So you can go on LinkedIn and search for my name if you can spell it. And if you manage to spell it, then absolutely I will accept you as a professional colleague on LinkedIn. So for LinkedIn groups, what I would do if I were you is I would go to, let me see what my next, I would go to LinkedIn groups. I would search for groups in my local area. So that would be chambers, Rotary, business networking groups in your larger metropolitan areas like, say, St. Louis, Chicago, San Diego, any of your bigger towns, you're going to have probably a linked up networking group or a LinkedIn networking group, and you can join that. Now, some of these groups have 5,000 business owners or 5,000 professionals that are in those groups, or more sometimes. And the value of that is this. Once you join the group, every time you post a thought, a comment, an answer to a question, or a news item, an event in that group, you just sent an email and posted information to approximately 5,000, or depending on the size of the group, interested parties in that area. So almost for free all of a sudden, you have the opportunity to connect with 5,000 people that you didn't know before. Chances are they're a professional in some regard, and of those who are professionals, maybe even business owners, some percentage of them are going to be age, say, 30, 35, 40 and over, and many of them will have an aging parent or know somebody who has an aging parent. I mean, come on, how often, if you have 5,000 people, what are the chances, right? Pretty high, I would say. So definitely search for groups in your local area. Search for business groups. You don't have to join groups that are specific to your niche or your service. So if I were an elder care provider of some kind of home care service, I wouldn't just look for groups that were home care related. If there is one, that's fine, but they're not going to send me leads. It's probably all of my competition. I want to join business groups. I want to join women's groups. I want to join men's groups if there's a men's group. I want to join groups that are a diverse population of people who may see the value in the kind of business that I run. And in turn, I may see some value in some of the businesses that they run locally. So definitely use LinkedIn and groups to your advantage. And also, once you start making connections with people in those groups, you can add them to your friends list or your colleague list or whatever they call it on LinkedIn. And I guess they call it a professional connection. And you can start arranging to have coffee or whatever it is. You can arrange to get to know people who are in your local area doing business. So a very, very, very cost-effective way for you to get more leads. All right, let's talk about Facebook marketing, because there's all kinds. I mean, this is a whole webinar in and of itself. So I'm just going to hit the highlights here because there's no way I could talk about this for 2 hours. There's all kinds of good stuff here. So I am going to hit the highlights. There's just too much to talk about. But the bottom line is this. You need to go to Facebook. And if you don't already have, some people are just inherently hate Facebook or they just don't like it for whatever reason. But let me tell you something. There are so many people on Facebook now. I think that the whole population of Facebook is bigger. I don't know, if you considered it a country, it'd be one of the biggest countries in the world. So you probably should maybe think about at least having Facebook for a business perspective. There's all kinds of bad press that Facebook gets from time to time about kids and teenagers and college kids and bullying and things like that. That's never going to stop. But the bottom line for us is we want to use it for business purposes and to connect with people who may have an aging parent or may need care or may want to be a caregiver. It's not about accepting Farmville requests and stuff like that. So the first thing you need to do is set up a Facebook business fan page. And if you don't know what that means, then you need to go to Facebook and find out, because it's extremely important. We would never have a client that didn't have a Facebook fan page. Make sure there's a link to your new business fan page in your email signature and on your website. You should never have a Facebook fan page that you don't tell people about. You have to tell people about it or they'll never know to go there. So you need to make sure it's in your email signature. And when I say that, I mean, have a little highlighted text, a little link text in your email signature that says, follow us on Facebook. And when somebody clicks on the words, follow us on Facebook, boom, they go to your Facebook business page and they can like you or give you a thumbs up. And that means that they are part of your community now, your outreach. And then you have to be active. You have to be active. If you just let it sit there, it's not going to do anything. I'm going to show you a couple of examples here. And also for Facebook marketing, again, Facebook, if you just type in, Google the words Facebook marketing, one of the best places to go to read about Facebook marketing is actually Facebook itself. They've got some great tutorials and information there. Use Publisher. You can publish on it to keep your users updated on new content. You can write notes even on the go from your cell phone. You can text them in and share them with your audience. You can post photos and videos of your events, add applications that enhance your page's experience. There's so much cool stuff you can do. You can create discussion boards to solicit user feedback and generate brainstorms. You can create groups. This is another group idea. Facebook has groups too. You should create groups on Facebook. If you want to know what our Facebook group is, it's called Elder Care Entrepreneurs. Elder Care Entrepreneurs. If you go there, you can join our group. It's free, open, anybody can join. I think there's about 500 people in there. So Elder Care Entrepreneurs. For you, in doing business in your local area, you're going to want to generate groups that are specific to your local area. But then you have to tell people about those groups. People aren't going to inherently know that there's a Boise, Idaho elder care group. They're not going to know that, so you have to tell people about it. But you can create groups to help your fans with similar interests and connect with one another, set up events and have your fans RSVP. If you're going to be hosting an event, sponsoring an event, doing a webinar like this one, or maybe just having a clinic at your place or whatever, open house, you can put an event up on Facebook and have people RSVP that way. We put all of our webinars up on Facebook, and people don't RSVP necessarily on Facebook, but we give them a link to register. It works every time. Import your blog and help it spread on Facebook? Absolutely. You should be keeping a blog, and you should have it go straight to your Facebook business page. And then check out the Facebook platform to see how you can customize your presence on Facebook. Again, there are so many things you could do. I could talk about this for 2 hours. Okay, but I want to talk, oops, let's go back one. I want to show you what engagement means. And first of all, there are 3 items that I think are really, really important. Some of you are what I would call a sole proprietor, maybe not by my definition for the government, but you are a single person who is running your business. You wear all the hats, and so staff training doesn't really apply to you, although you might need some training. But if you have a staff and you have folks that work with you, staff training is so important, because it's not because you want to force them to go on Facebook and like your stuff, but engaging on the Facebook fan page that you have is so important. And if you don't have the time to do that, you can always allocate that to somebody else in the office to do. And so staff training about all of this and how it works is really important. And one of the things that we've started being pretty diligent about is offering that to all of our clients. So if any of you are listening, by the way, you're welcome to sign up for a staff training day. We'll do a webinar specifically for your staff. I have no problem with that. And that seems to help engagement quite a bit. If we can tell other people how to get involved on Facebook, that will increase the number of folks that see what you have going on. So that will result in some excellent results. And then here's a good Facebook example. If you were to go to Facebook and type in the search bar of Facebook, Comfort Keepers Home Care Green Bay /Appleton, you would find this business page. And if you scroll down a bit, one of the things you'll see that is there's a ton of content on this page, this Facebook business page. If you scroll down a bit, you'll see that whenever they have an event, like you see right now, you're looking at cookie decorating December 2010. Whenever they have an event, they take pictures. They make sure that people are aware of it. You can see that if you look real closely at that underneath the first picture, there are 7 photos that they posted. It's from December. It's had 268 impressions and 1.87% feedback. So people have liked it. People have commented on it. You know, there's some good engagement right there. Those are the kinds of things that you want to make sure you're doing. You need to have pictures. You don't have to take pictures of clients if you don't want to, but you can take pictures of your staff. You can take pictures of signs, of just anything to do with the event, your booth at a senior fair, whatever it is. That's what engagement's all about. People like to see what you're up to. And here's another one. This is not a client of ours, but I just love a couple of things about the Lovettsville Home Assisted Living. And don't ask me how I found them. I don't remember, except that if you look at their page here, underneath the picture of the 2 ladies, if you keep going down, you'll see eventually the number 534. Whoever does the marketing for Lovettsville Home Assisted Living does a darn good online job, because in that little town in Virginia, 534 people like this page. That is outstanding. And if you actually type in a search up there at the top of that little picture, you can see the word search. If you type in Lovettsville Home Assisted Living or Lovettsville Home, this page will pop up and you can go look at it. And there are, every day, I think, there are, well, maybe not every day, at least once a week, there's something on here about Lovettsville Home Assisted Living. And just anything, comments, look at that. It says, get ready for your next bingo night with dabbers, seat cushions, and much more. There's all kinds of stuff, I don't know, just anything on there that is cool. It's some about them, sometimes it's some of their fans, but it would be very worthwhile to visit the Lovettsville Home Assisted Living page and see how they make the most out of this page. Very, very good online marketing. Great Facebook example. Okay, and the next thing is we want to talk about the third thing as far as online and offline engagement is that you need a website that works for you. And when I say that, I mean you need to give people a reason offline to visit your website and go online to visit you. So when you are out and about, you're handing out flyers, business cards, brochures, you're leaving stuff behind, how many times, and let's see if I can, here I'll just read this quote. What I find is that most companies offline promotions, meaning on paper, on their business cards or whatever, are limited to a line of text such as visit our website at www.ourcompany.com or a simple listing of the web address of their homepage below their logo or at the bottom of the screen or printed page. And that's a big snoozer. So I put my little dude snoozing on there. That is kind of a waste of space. So my recommendation to all of you, when you're doing something offline, meaning you're printing a flyer, you're printing anything that has to do with your marketing of your business, if you're going to bother to put your website on there, which you should, then put something of value that has to do with your website. So in other words, not just visit our website, but think about other reasons why people could visit your website and give them some incentive to go there once your visit with them is done. Be creative and think about all the things you could offer. You could offer free stuff, informational in nature, and jazz it up. Make it sound good. Don't make it sound boring. You could offer videos. You could offer to have them register for an event. You could tell them to go to your website to register for your next webinar or in-person event. You could tell them to go to your website to join a group of like-minded professionals. You could have them go to your website to get on your list. I put that in quotation marks, meaning maybe on your referral list or on a list of providers that you would hand out to other people. You could have them go on your site, depending on what your business is, for coupons, if that applies to you, discounts, if that applies to you, for recipes. If you have nothing else that you can think of that you can give away or do, what if you are really good at having easy-to-make, on-the-fly recipes for seniors? That would be pretty cool. Have them go there and download your recipe book. What about safety guides? And what else can you think of? I mean, there are tons of things. How about Vial of Life or File of Life? Those are things that they can go right to your website and download for free. They're free for you to offer them, and they have, there's no cost involved, so that's really cool stuff. It doesn't matter whether you're a home care agency, an assisted living facility, or you do reverse mortgages or long-term care insurance, whatever your thing is, there is something that you can do to give people incentive to go to your website. And if it's something nice like a File of Life, which is sort of like your medical records in a little file that you keep on the refrigerator, or recipes or safety guides or discounts or whatever it is, if you can offer that, then you're definitely doing yourself a favor by getting people to get to your website and see what else you have to offer. So the next question is, why would I do this? Why do you care if people go to your website? Well, you absolutely should care. You should care because this is where people are engaging with you, and this is where people are going to do more conversing with you, especially via email or Facebook or whatever, than ever before. So you want to capture information about that consumer or professional. Get their email address, their name, their information. Send them your monthly newsletter. Stay on top of them. If you don't have a monthly newsletter, you better get one. Have one. Do it. I don't care if it's straight email or if it's beautiful or whatever. You need to have a monthly newsletter without fail, because you're leaving money on the table every time you neglect to follow up with professionals and consumers in your community. You are leaving money on the table every time you neglect to follow up with professionals and consumers in your community, because they will forget about you. But if you continue to communicate with them via newsletters or whatever you want to do, then you will be on the top of their mind when something happens and their mother really does need care, or whatever the case. So they need to refer to another agency or an assisted living facility. Send them company updates. You can send them invitations or reminders. There are a ton of things that you can do to help yourself and your business engage. Take the offline information that you offer people, the flyers, brochures, and things of that nature, and turn them into online engaging customers and professionals and prospects. Okay, let's talk about using a virtual team. Now, obviously, and this is no secret, we're a virtual team, so I'm going to talk to you about what that means and how that works. A virtual team should do the following, and if they do not do the following things, then they're probably not doing you a whole lot of good. So here we go. A virtual team should increase your Twitter followers. They should increase your blog posts. You should have tons of content out there. They should help you learn how to increase your Facebook followers. They should provide staff training to help your staff understand how to do all this. They should increase your first page Google results. You should be on the first page of Google. You should be striving to that, toward that goal if you're not already. You should be increasing traffic to your website. And all of this all together, the stuff about Facebook, the stuff about LinkedIn, the website, the blog, everything comes together in a very big marketing package. And all of that stuff all together, when you do it right, will increase your trustworthiness and your credibility online. When people search online for care for an aging parent or for a service for an aging parent, they're looking for someone who, A, is on the first page of Google, B, stands out from the crowd, and C, has tons of content and information that increases that adult child's level of trust and the credibility factor and when they're considering who to choose. And the website itself is really important. So all of these things work together, and using a virtual team, if you don't have a team or you don't have staff that can take this on, because it is a big job, it's imperative, but it's a big job, then these are the kinds of things that you want to make sure that you have in place using a virtual team. I'm just going to show you some examples of what I mean by websites and lead capture and microsites and blogs. Here's a couple examples. This is one example of a lead capture site in a blog. All search engine optimized, use local keywords, strong messages, and free offers. Those are all very important. Here's another example of one of our newer websites and with a blog included. This is one of our new clients, and this really does extremely well. And then having a newsletter. We talked about having a newsletter. This is, you know what, this isn't one of the absolute coolest, fanciest newsletters that exists in email, but it gets the job done, and it gets through all the spam filters, so that's really important. And everything on here leads back to this client's website. Social media accounts. And we're talking about a lot of accounts that need to be set up, but you should have all of these done. And you also should make sure that your listing on Google Places is taken care of very well. If you don't know what that is, you need to look into it. You should have LinkedIn, Facebook. You should have Facebook business page, Scribed, Posters, Twitter, Skidoo, Merchant Circle, Idea Marketers. You should have videos. You should have go-to articles and article marketing accounts, and you should have a blog. All of this is free for you to set up, but you have to do it, and you have to engage with it in order to make it work for you. And video. Let's talk video for just a second. If you have never had a video done about your business or you've never done a TV commercial, it is almost unheard of today to not have video about your business. Even if you create it yourself, there are tons of ways now to use your desktop computer or your Mac to create videos. Even if they're PowerPoints that you voice over, whatever the case, you need to have some kind of informational videos out there. We've upgraded the way we do our videos. We used to do them just pretty much a voiceover of a PowerPoint, and now we do they're like TV commercials. So if you ever want to look at one of our videos or samples of what we do for our clients, they look just like TV commercials. In fact, you could use them as TV commercials. They work really well. They have a really great call to action. You should have a YouTube channel set up. Like the one you're looking at here, the screenshot, that's one of our YouTube channels. And believe it or not, the sides are all custom done. All that stuff is actually on our YouTube channel. So you can have it really designed nicely and make it match your brand. Press releases. If you haven't been keeping up with doing press releases, I know sometimes it's hard to figure out why you would do a press release if there's nothing super exciting going on. But you can do a press release, believe me, about just about anything. You don't have to send it to the newspaper every single time, but you can definitely get the word out about your business, get some good links to your website, and talk about a lot of different things. We do press releases for our customers when we have something new, a new program they're involved in, or if they have something going on that's of value and they send us their press releases, we send them out. So there's always room for press releases on the Internet, and you should definitely take advantage of that. Okay, so here's the part where we're going to take questions and answers. And remember, questions and answers are about combining offline marketing with online marketing. It's not hard to do. You just have to be a little bit organized and understand what kind of tools you have online to reach out to your offline market. So, and also, I should say that if you want to talk to us, you can just call us, ask any questions about our programs, and learn how this complete integrated process can increase your bottom line. George is my partner. He's on the call, and he will be happy to also answer any questions, or you can call him directly or email him. And with that, let's see what kind of questions we've got here. By the way, if you haven't already done it, please go ahead and type your questions in, and we'll answer them for you. Okay, let's see here. I need to get my question thing moved out here. Let's see what kind of questions we have. Okay. Okay, so one person asked, in order to post pictures of clients on Facebook or anywhere else, it's my understanding that you need their written permission. Is that correct? You know what? If you want to take pictures of folks anywhere and post them on the Internet, I would always have a little disclaimer, a little permission slip written up. It doesn't take much to have a little photo release form. You can find them online. You can have your lawyer draw one up if you have a lawyer. It's simple, it's effective, and you can have them sign it right then and there. When we do a conference, we have everybody, if they're going to be on camera, and most of the time we don't have people on camera too much, but if they're going to be on camera, we have them sign a little release form, and that way we have their permission to go ahead and use that online. So absolutely, you can do that. But you know what? If you take pictures of your staff in an event, or if you take pictures of your booth or whatever, you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. But certainly, absolutely, if you take pictures of clients or people you don't know, you should ask. If we missed part of the webinar, is there a place to go view it? Sorry, we had phone calls. Absolutely, we will be sending out the playback. No problem at all. Let's see. I'm reading the question here. And okay, so this person doesn't have a question. They have a comment, which I would agree with. I've worked in marketing, including PR, in healthcare for over 20 years. Awesome. About those news, emails, faxes, suggest people use your next step, networking, and first build relationships with local newspaper people before They send faxes. Yes, if you can establish a relationship with a reporter and you have time to do that, that's fantastic. If there's a local health reporter and you can get some rapport going with them, perfect. Awesome. If you can't, if you haven't had time, I would still fax it, still send an email, but don't drive them crazy. Just send the information. You can follow up with a phone call if you want, but you might want to make sure that you're not totally driving them nuts. But yes, if you have time to build relationships, that's great. Try the LinkedIn approach and see if you can find the local health reporter, news director, or business reporter, or all. Twitter is also good for announcing breaking news like an open house you're holding. Wendy Meyerhoff, Maryland. Yes, Wendy, I would agree with all of those things. If we had time to do just a webinar on PR alone, that would be fantastic. So thank you for your comments, and you're exactly right. For very, very busy business people, it's often hard unless they have a marketing person on staff to get all of that stuff done. But again, hiring a virtual team or hiring a marketing person or making sure you have the time to do that, some of those extra steps is awesome. Okay. Do we need to be concerned about copyrights when posting articles on Facebook? Of course. If it's your content that you've written, then you should, if you're going to copy something and paste it into a note on Facebook, and somebody else wrote it, like it came from the New York Times, that's not cool. You have to. The better thing to do would be to link to it. So if you go to the New York Times, and let's say you go to the gal that writes all the aging column. She's fantastic, and if there's something that you really like there's going to be a Facebook share button on that article, and you can just share it straight to your Facebook page. You don't have to then be concerned about copyrights because they're asking you to share it. But what they're not asking you to do is take the entire article, copy it, and paste it into your Facebook page or your blog, and claim that you wrote it or even refer to them on it. They want you to send the traffic to their website to read the article. So you have to be careful about copyright laws, but if they offer a Facebook share button on an article and you hit share on Facebook, obviously they wanted you to do that. So that's okay. Any names of free sites where I can post my press releases and articles? Yeah, I'll be happy to share that. That would be something that we'll send out to everybody after the webinar. I don't mind sharing those sites at all. And if I forget, just be sure that you contact me and let me know that you need that. But I'll just send it out kind of as a package. Now, I know that more people have questions than this, so let's talk about questions. Type in your question. Let me know what you want to talk about and what kind of methodologies you've been using to connect online and offline, and we'll talk about it if you have any questions. Type them in. And if we don't have any more questions, then we might be done. But I'm sure there are more out there. You know it. Believe me, if you're thinking of something that you have a question about, other people are thinking of the same thing. Let's see if I can find anything I missed. Nope. Anybody else have questions, comments? Type them in. See what I have. Audience view. Let's see here. Attendee list. I think there's something. Where do I go? Oh, here we go. Where do I go to find out how to put a Facebook business link to my email? Well, if you use Outlook, then you'll have to, if you use Microsoft Outlook for your email, then you'll have to go to Outlook and look at the tutorials on how to add an email signature. And or just go to Microsoft or type in a Google search for how do I add an email signature to Outlook. And if you go to, if you have Gmail, if you use Gmail or something like that, then you need to go to Gmail and look at their tutorials on how to add a signature. And when inside of the tutorial on how to add a signature to your email, they will often talk about how to embed a link in there to your Facebook business page. Let's see, another excellent program. Thanks. If there's anything that we've talked about here that anybody wants as far as information, you can state your question or your request. or you can just email me afterwards or email George and we'll get something to you. But again, I would recommend looking into the stuff that we offer at ltcsocialmark.com. Look at the packages and the pricing under feature plans, because if you look at all the stuff that we do, then you'll be able to see what you should be doing as well. And if it's overwhelming, and for most busy business owners it is, then you need to think about having a virtual team. And remember to allocate those marketing dollars to what's going to give you the best return on investment. And if Yellow Pages isn't bringing it in for you, then think about moving that to some of your online marketing efforts. And does anybody else have a question before I go? And George, do you have anything you want to add before I go?
No, they're just glad to have you call in and talk about how we could help you with being your virtual team.
Yeah, absolutely. It's easy to, and much easier to engage in all this when you have some folks out there helping you. Okay, and I don't know, Diane's saying something, but it's not clear to me what she's saying. So anyway, that's it, folks. If you have anything else that you need, please email us directly or give us a call at 1-888-404-1513, 888-404-1513. Thanks, and we look forward to seeing all of you again next month. Watch for our invitations on LinkedIn and on Facebook and in your email. Thanks a lot, everybody. Bye-bye.